Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's event. I'm hoping that everybody can see me and hear me okay. I am having a little bit of a tech issue on my side today with the sound. So at any point, if my sound cuts out, please do let me know. Um, it could just be because we've got a larger group in here today, but yeah, just let me know if I'm talking away and suddenly I'm silent. You just see my mouth moving, but nothing else happening. Please do let me know. A lot of the information I'm sharing is very important and super valuable, and I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything for you guys there. So welcome everybody. Before I officially kick off the event, actually everyone can, I was going to say I can test my audio and visual, but we already did that. Everyone can saying that they can see me, so that's good. And then also would like to invite everyone to share where they are joining us from. So there's the chat log in the bottom right corner there. There's also questions tab down there. You guys can interact with both of those. One thing I will say is, Canada, Canada, Canada. Where in Canada, guys? Toronto. Ooh, it's going fast. Toronto, Hamilton, Newmarket, Ottawa, Richmond Hill, Burlington. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm actually originally myself, I am from Niagara Falls, and now I live in Calgary. And I've lived in BC too. I've been in 3 different provinces. So there's the chat log here, guys, that you guys are interacting with. Feel free to chat throughout the whole presentation. There's also a questions tab there. Just note that we do have some of our staff working on the back end throughout this live event, and we will answer your questions as quickly as we can through that way. It's not a live Q&A event, so we're not going to do any portion of the event where we're asking live questions, but we did send out a poll in advance asking all of the registrants to provide us with some questions for our attendees, or speakers, I should say, for today. So I will get into that with the speakers a little bit later on. I'm going to invite some students up near the end, ask them both a couple questions, and then we've got some industry speakers who I'm going to invite up and ask some questions too. So without further ado, let me get the actual presentation up here for you guys. I've got some live polls as well too. That's the other little screen you can see there. I will share. Great question. Will this be recorded? It will be. So this whole session will be recorded and sent out to everybody who has registered, whether you were able to make it or not today, but we will send out the recording for everybody after the event. And that'll include all the information on these slides. If there's any stats or any information that way, you'll get access to all of that. So without further ado, let me get myself set up here. Okay, so I can start off the event here by introducing myself. My name is Tyler Trapp. I am the Marketing Events Manager at CircuitStream. I've been with this company for just about 3 years. I did this calculation today. I don't actually know my official start date, but we are getting very, very close to the 3-year mark. I think it might have been in May or June that I started. I can't remember exactly, but I've been with the company for 3 years. We're going to have some amazing guest speakers as well. I'm not inviting her up on stage quite yet, but in just a few minutes, I'm going to introduce you to Catherine, the Dean of the School of Continuing Studies at the University of Toronto. Later in the presentation, I'm going to also invite Himanshu. Himanshu is the Applied AI Lead from Vector Institute. And we will have Stacy Long-Genovese, the Global Head of Education and Training from Snapchat, joining us as well. And then certainly not last but not least, we will have 2 student grads joining us today to share on their course experiences. Krypton took our summer 2023 video game coding course. And Eason, who's going to join him on stage to answer some questions, also took our summer 2023 course there. So I'll kick off the event to actually get into the presentation part here. So I'll start off by sharing some information about us at CircuitStream. We began in 2015 through a network of developers, designers, and creators, and we are now a leading provider of technology education for both teens and adults. We are partnered with the industry-leading companies and leading educational institutions to provide education to those looking to learn more about existing and emerging technologies. Before we actually dive into the details here and some of the stats, I am going to do a little bit of a poll for everyone to begin. So I'm going to put this up on screen. You should be able to interact with this in real time. So you should be able to click it. But the poll I'm going to ask everybody here is, what is your teen's primary interest in taking pre-university technology courses? So some of the answers here are to gain new skills, to prepare for college, university, to meet new people, or to explore new interests. So go ahead and fill that poll out as long as you can interact with it. Yeah, I can see the results coming through here. Oh, I don't know where my poll just went. Somebody got rid of it for me. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to reload this up again. Go. And I've got to keep the poll slide smaller. So if anybody on my team is trying to adjust the screen sizes, please leave it the same there for me. So that's the poll here, the first one. I'm sure everyone can see the results on their side. On my side, I can see the gain new skills has taken command in the top. We've got that up at 44%, followed by almost a tie between preparing for college and university and exploring new interests. And the lowest one on the poll here is to meet new people. So I'm going to go ahead and share a second poll with the audience as well. Should flip there. What are the largest benefits of teen technology summer education? So go ahead and choose whichever one you think here. Social benefits, to stand out on university applications, for higher graduation rates, or D would be all of the above. I'm looking at the results here. We've got social benefits climbing up, stand out on university applications, higher graduation rates is at the lowest, and overwhelmingly 78% of the poll responses come through so far are for all of the above. So if you picked all of the above, you are correct. Not only do these courses provide social benefits, higher graduation rates, and they help students stand out on college and university applications, but they also increase overall university readiness and they boost confidence among students. All of these summer technology students also work on capstone projects at the end of their 2-week courses, and they receive a digital badge upon completion. Through the University of Toronto Continuing Studies Department, we offer 6 different technology courses for teenagers between the ages of 13 to 18. These courses cover mobile app development, AI machine learning, video game coding, game design, creating augmented reality experiences, and product design and UX labs. So to talk a little bit about the university and the benefits of these courses being available to pre-uni students, I'd like to officially now welcome Catherine Chandler-Crinchlow, the Dean of the School of Continuing Studies from the University of Toronto, on stage. So welcome, Catherine, if you want to join the stage here. Perfect. All right, I'm just going to put you up there. There we go. Welcome, Catherine.
Hi, Tyler. Pleased to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And I'll let you take it over from there.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and really keen to hear and learn about how our students are looking at doing education programs and thinking about university and the types of program that they can be becoming involved in prior to joining the university. And I'd be pleased to address any questions you might have.
Amazing, amazing. So that's just a quick welcome from Catherine here. Catherine is going to be in the room while I'm doing the rest of the presentation here with some of the speakers. So if anybody has any questions for Catherine, feel free to go ahead and put them in the questions tab. You can put them in the chat tab, and Catherine will do her best to answer and field all of those questions as they come through. So Catherine, thank you for the quick welcome here. I'm going to invite you back up on stage probably in about 20 minutes or so, and we can do a little bit more audience Q&A with some pre-polled questions there.
You're welcome. And welcome to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so that's a welcome from Catherine here. Excuse me. So now I'm going to share a little bit of information about the technology industry. So, according to Invest Ontario, there are over 22,000 technology businesses located in Ontario, and 48% of the entire country's technology workers are also located in this province. So, with those numbers, it is no shock that Toronto is considered to be North America's fastest growing technology market. Ontario is also home to North America's second most concentrated IT cluster, with industry giants like Amazon, IBM, Cisco, and Google all having large offices located in this province. And again, anytime I hit a slide where there are stats available, I just like to remind everybody in case you weren't here at the beginning, this whole presentation will be recorded and sent out to everybody afterwards. So you can write down some of these numbers if you want to. You can take screenshots, you can take pictures on your phone, or you can just sit back and relax and enjoy the presentation because all of this will be sent to you in a recording after. So, I've got another audience poll here that I am going to share with everyone. I think this is the last live poll that I have for the event here today. So this one is, what do Slack, Skip the Dishes, BlackBerry, Shopify, and Wealthsimple all have in common? Just a quick. I'm going to answer the session on the side there. The question on the side about the session. Session's going to be about an hour to an hour and a half total here today. So what does Slack, Skip the Dishes, BlackBerry, Shopify, and Wealthsimple all have in common? They all have headquarters located outside of North America. They all began as video game development companies. They all have Canadian founders, or each company CEO has won an Olympic medal. I'm just taking a look here. So first place, we have Canadian founders. Second place on the poll, we have headquarters located outside of North America. Third is that they all began as video game development companies. And the fourth is that all of the CEOs have won an Olympic medal. So if you guessed that they all had Canadian founders, you are absolutely right. All of these large, well-known companies shown on screen were actually developed by or with Canadian founders. It was a shock to me too when I was putting together this presentation. I actually didn't know that about a few of these companies, which was pretty interesting to learn. Canada has a vibrant and rapidly growing technology sector that made significant contributions to the national and global economy. In 2024, it stated that 51% of technology learners are hiring for new permanent roles. Not learners. So 51% of Canadian technology leaders, my apologies, are hiring for new permanent roles. 42% are hiring for vacated permanent roles, but 92% have outlined that they are facing challenges finding skilled talent. The demand for skilled technology professionals in Canada far outweighs the current available supply. The rapid pace of technology advancements means that the required skill sets are evolving a bit faster than the current workforce can adapt, which has led to this gap in significant technology skills. This just means that learning these skills at a younger age or an earlier age puts you in a great position to start filling this gap that's needed within Canada. Artificial intelligence plays a massive role in the world of technology in 2024. Canada's AI sector is a key job creator and driver of productivity, innovation, and economic growth. We are actually currently ranked number 1 among 80 countries, tied with South Korea and Japan. This is from a 2024 global report on artificial intelligence. Canada has 10% of the world's top tier AI researches, which is the second most in the world, and it ranks first globally for year-over-year growth of women working in AI, which saw a 67% increase from 2022 to 2023 alone, which is crazy. The Canadian government recently announced that $2.4 billion from the upcoming 2024 budget were going to be used to secure Canada's AI advantage. So speaking of AI, let's take a closer look at some of the one of the most popular tools being used in the AI world right now, ChatGPT. ChatGPT was developed by a company called OpenAI, and 2 of the OpenAI's founding members were also Canadian. Andre is a research scientist and was a founding member of OpenAI back in 2016. He recently moved back to the company in 2023 after a few years as the senior director of AI at Tesla. And Ilya was the founding member and a research director of OpenAI in 2016 as well. And he is currently still with the company as their chief scientist. But aside from both of these co-founders and these gentlemen being Canadian or being involved with OpenAI, they both actually also graduated from the University of Toronto. Just a quick little shout out to the school that is connected to the courses that we're offering here today. And since we are on the topic of AI, this is a great opportunity for me to welcome Himanshu up on stage. As I mentioned previously, Himanshu is the Applied AI Lead from the Vector Institute. He's going to share some information on the world of AI and the future of this technology. So Himanshu, you are welcome to join the stage here now if you can.
Thank you very much.
Hello,
everyone.
Perfect. Welcome, Himanshu. I'll sit back and I'll let you take over for a few minutes here. Just let me know when you're finished and I'll hop back up on stage with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Taylor. And hello, everyone. It's great to see so many of you joining, and a pleasure to talk to you. So I'll just share my screen. Can you all see my screen? Okay, fine. Thank you. Yeah. So welcome once again. Welcome to this particular session, and I would like to say hello to all the future leaders. And as Taylor said, I think one of the most interesting and important technology which we all are witnessing right now is artificial intelligence. And it is a proud privilege for all of us that we are co-located at the birthplace of deep learning, which is transforming the world right now. So as I move forward, I will just briefly mention what does Vector Institute do. So Vector Institute for Artificial Intelligence is driving research excellence and leadership in artificial intelligence to foster economic growth for Canadians and for the globe. Our mission is to attract the best global talent focused on research excellence, build and sustain AI-based innovation, growth, and productivity in Canada. We are also mandated to contribute thought leadership about Ontario and Canada's role in AI, including economic and societal impact. Who we work with? We work with all the academic institutions in Ontario and beyond. So it includes all the universities where you would be joining for your undergrad, including the University of Toronto. We also work with our industry partners, so all the big tech, banks, consulting firms, wherever technology is being used, we have our researchers and our interns, our students joining them. And we have collaboration with all government and AI partners across the country. Additionally, we work with the health partners, the hospitals, to bring the best of AI to solve healthcare related problems. As it was mentioned by Taylor, Canada has one of the very vibrant startup and scale up setup, and we have been collaborating with them. The idea is to bring the best of the talent, AI research to the fore to make Canadians and the global citizens grow by adopting AI in a responsible and ethical manner. What does it mean? And why should you study AI and machine learning now? Why is it important now? Perhaps you would have all seen this. Why AI stands out? What is AI? AI is the capability of a device to perform functions that are normally associated with human intelligence, such as reasoning, learning, and self-improvement. And you can see as these devices, these techniques are coming to fore, it is becoming more and more apparent that they can do a lot of human level activities. AI in our daily life, you would have seen previously, we talked about use of artificial intelligence in terms of various tools which were either seen in Hollywood movies or read in some fictional books or were limited to certain research laboratories. Subsequently, in 90s and 2000s and early 2000s, machine learning came to fore, and a lot of calculations, a lot of computational assistance was given by machine learning. Now we are into the neural nets, which are deep learning networks, which are governing the current AI solutions, which are being utilized by establishments, by research institutions, as well as companies across the globe. How does AI work? AI learns from data. It uses pattern in the data to make predictions and decisions. It improves with more information. AI around us. Netflix recommender system, which you use very often. Alexa, Siri, then the Google Translate or any other translate version which you use on your mobile device or on your laptops. How it all transformed and why it is so significantly important for us to be alive in this age is the democratization of AI, which took place on 30th November 2022 with launch of ChatGPT. If you see the screen, ChatGPT transformed the access of AI to a common citizen of the world. It took only 2 months for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users as compared to very sophisticated, widely used other products which we have been using. Let's say Instagram, it took 2.5 years. TikTok, it took 9 months. Netflix, it took 10 years to reach 100 million users. Whereas ChatGPT has been the democratized role model of accessing AI by general populace across the globe. However, there is much more to AI than ChatGPT. Though ChatGPT has provided us an ease of access, improved context, because it uses large language models, which provides us human-like response, and definitely it has been trained on a large training data set. Essentially, it has been a lot of research over last 1 decade. A lot of it happened over here in Toronto, in University of Toronto, in the lab where those two gentlemen were talked about. They were there, and in the lab where our co-founder Dr. Jeffrey Hinton has been researching for long. So essentially, what large language models do, they are trained on a very large amount of data, and then it becomes easy for them to predict the next word. And that's how, when the users use these tools, they find it to be very, very significantly close to human-like responses. Last 2.5 2 years have been transformational for AI, especially generative AI. And generative AI, you have used and seen these tools, from conversational AI to tools which are creating image and video. And there are a lot of authors who have written books by using ChatGPT and other tools, and have transformed what traditionally would have been a domain utilizing only human intelligence. Now, coming to a very important aspect, why should you study AI, or why should you start to learn AI related themes or topics? McKinsey, in a report last year, has predicted that the global economy will be impacted positively by AI in next few years. And AI has a potential to increase almost 17 to 25 trillion economical value across the globe. That means it would transform how the current jobs change, industries shift, healthcare changes. Coming closer home, if you look at productivity impact of generative AI across Canada, this is a research which was undertaken by the Conference Board of Canada last quarter of last year. It was released in December, and we were part of this particular research. If you see across Canada, on an average, we will be able to increase the GDP of our country, respective regions, by almost 2% by utilizing these generative AI tools. Thus, it is important for us, all of us, students, parents, teachers, to utilize these tools in a very, very responsible manner, so that we can leverage the efficiency and productivity enhancement which these tools can provide us. Once again, Canada stands out, in addition to what Taylor had mentioned, in terms of the country which is most interested in using generative AI. So this particular research shows that Canada is number 3 in terms of focus and interest of people in learning and discovering new generative AI tools, after Philippines and Singapore. How can you benefit from artificial intelligence, and why should you leverage it? So if you see this particular chart, it is released last week from Stanford's AI Institute. It talks about how AI has been significantly able to attain human level intelligence in few tasks. So if you talk about image classification, basic level of reading, understanding of English language, visual reasoning, AI has been able to match, or to an extent go beyond, the human baseline. Yes, there are other intellectual tasks where AI is falling short of, which is a work in progress, which are things related to multitask, language understanding, com- on computational level mathematics, for which we have bright students like you all on this call, right? As AI moves forward, that means a lot of tasks which humans were doing earlier, which were very mundane, repetitive, can be handed over to AI tools so that human beings can utilize their time to do a little more productive intellectual work, right? And adoption of AI is going to happen across the industry. It's already happening in our own daily lives. We see so much of AI. We see it on our phones, on our mobile devices, Siri, Alexa, our cars, our recommender systems on television, and also across the globe, across the industries, a lot of new technologies are impacting how do we change the way we have been solving problems. So I'll give a couple of examples, and then you will see this as you look around in various industries, right from the government to the policing to banking to transportation, entertainment. There is an element of AI which is getting envisaged and is increasing the productivity of those tools. That is why whichever subject or major or minor you will choose in your undergrad, your postgrad, subsequently for your higher studies, if you go for PhD, you will find there will be a component of machine learning and AI in that. And it is very important for you to align yourself to use those techniques, tools, so that you can leverage the best for perhaps research, for perhaps calculating some very, very detailed calculation, which otherwise would have been taking many days. You could use certain codes which could help you achieve that particular level of efficiency. I'll talk about those solutions as well in a couple of slides. What is the difference between AI and previous technologies? That AI has been termed as a general purpose technology. What is a general purpose technology? It is a technology which can impact humanity and can solve a lot of our problems. If you look, steam engine transformed how the production in industry took place. Electricity revolutionized how we could produce things. Subsequently, computers have been transformational. Semiconductors shifted from solid state to what we are right now in terms of computing from our watches, from our mobile phones, our laptops, our computers. Internet has been transformational in terms of communication, how we do business, how we operate, and now it is artificial intelligence. That's why AI is going to impact all of us, our lives, our studies, how we do things personally, professionally. So it's important for us to adopt it in a very, very responsible manner. And you will see how when you go to school, when you attend these courses, they will teach you how you can actually adopt these technologies in a manner that it would always remain ethical. It will always take care of the risk and concerns which generally people have against AI. That's another very important aspect of this technology, that we have to learn to use it in a very responsible manner. One example, protein folding. This particular problem has been bothering the scientists for last 50 years, right? Now with this solution being found by DeepMind, a company which has been doing AI research for last almost 10 years, they have been able to find solutions which can transform solutions for personalized medication. It can find problems and solutions to a lot of genetic disorders. And you would see that AI has been able to enable a lot of AI-based medical appliances and devices which can transform personalized healthcare across the globe. This is an example from the US, how in the last 10 years, the number of FDA approvals for AI medical devices have been granted, and it's increasing. So you can imagine that a lot of diseases, a lot of problems which earlier were not being resolved, we could utilize AI tools to solve them. This is a quote from CEO of DeepMind, Demis, when he was in Vancouver this Monday talking to the CEO of TED Talks, and he mentions very categorically what they achieved with AlphaFold, with protein folding in 1 year, otherwise would have taken billions of years of a PhD's time. That means AI is going to help us significantly to understand the world around us and find solutions of problems which we were struggling with as humanity. Similarly, there is a lot of focus on new material discovery, which can transform how we across the globe do material science, how we make things, and the focus which we have on natural resources, which is causing a lot of ecological imbalance, gets resolved because we will be able to create these materials with the means of AI artificially in the labs. If you see across the globe, the global opinion about potential of AI is changing. There are concerns, I'll talk about them, but most of the people, almost 50% and above, think that AI definitely can increase their productivity. It can help them be entertained better. It can help them enhance their creativity. It can focus on their healthcare. It can help them improve what they achieve at their job. So there are various tools and solutions which AI can bring to fore, but nothing comes without risk. So let's focus on some risks which are supposed to be looked at when we use these technologies. There is a huge risk of misuse of AI for disinformation, but then there are tools available which can detect these problems. There is a significant amount of press which talks about that there may be some disruption in jobs. People may have to change how they work. That's why it is important that we utilize these techniques, learn, upskill ourselves, right? But again, when we talk about how AI can help us solve problems in healthcare, how we can improve what we have in terms of our other solutions which are being provided to societies, to communities across. There have been infringements of copyright which are being debated about, but then there are tools which are available which can help us focus on drug discovery, like we talked about earlier. There are biases, there are issues which are being addressed by regulations, by new techniques, but then there are solutions which are available which can help us provide very personalized education to individuals. It can help people understand, listen to a particular lecture which might not be in their primary language, in their own language, by a lot of translation tools. There are issues in terms of responsible AI and regulations. Regulations are a little behind, but they are catching up across the globe, especially in Canada and the US. And you will see that these regulations will help us utilize these AI techniques a little more responsibly, both for individuals as well as for the firms and companies which are creating them. Now, why it is important? You will see that there is a steep increase in the number of courses being offered by universities. We talked about a few of them previously, but I think there'll be more information about them in last few years. So there is a focus by the universities, by the governments to increase the AI-based programs across the world. This particular report talks about them in English, but then there are a lot of them in other languages, right? And there has been a very good harmony amongst the teachers and professors as well as students to utilize ChatGPT. Just an example, to use AI for education inside the classrooms. I have been part of a couple of these experiments in the US where we have realized that it has been transformational in increasing the understanding of students about a concept if they utilize these tools. And this is very important. I think you should focus on this. In last 10 years, in the US and Canada combined, there has been a very good increase in number of computer science bachelor graduates. So it has gone to almost 36,000 in 2022. It's on a rise. And this is something which talks about that the skill gap, which was mentioned by Taylor earlier, gets fulfilled by our own talented students like you all. And as the industries are demanding more and more AI and computer science based graduates, you will be able to fill that gap. But then it is not only about computer science and data science. There are a lot of other related career opportunities which will come to fore. You will see that there could be folks who could join as robotics engineers. There could be people who would be working as computer vision engineers. There'll be people who will focus on how we can make these AI tools more ethical, more responsible. Then there will be people who would focus on AI strategies, product, and projects. So there are various options which you have as you grow. What we can do as students, as parents, as teachers, as professionals, we need to stay informed and be up to date what's happening. We need to definitely exercise caution because there are a lot of misuses of this technology. Definitely, we need to upskill ourselves. It could be formal education in school, it could be continuous education for professionals. And then again, we have to engage within the community. It could be community at school level, it could be community at professional level. And always and every time figure out how best we can utilize these tools ethically and always make sure that we are bridging the gap where these misuse of technology, especially in terms of bias, transparency, and unethical use gets addressed, right? And very important thing I would say, do not get carried away by the idea of ease of prompting large language models, ChatGPT, uh, discourage you from idea of learning how to code. The coding skill will remain as one of the most valuable skill because you may be able to prompt one particular conversational bot on one particular problem, but if you would like to code, you may be able to solve many problems together. And over here, I would like to quote Professor Andrew Knack, who is the CEO of Deep Learning, co-founder of Coursera, who has been a transformational AI educator, AI researcher across the globe. And he says, if you do not yet code, consider taking a Python course to get started. If you already code, I hope you will encourage others to take up the skill. And perhaps this time where we are today, this age, this era is the best time to learn and help somebody else learn Python as the second language. So start speaking any programming language, but I would suggest to start with Python as second language or if third, fourth language if you are bilingual, multilingual. Please go ahead and dive deeper into the world of coding and then get connected to machine learning and AI and then solve a lot of problems which we are yet to find solutions of. Thank you very much, and I'll stop sharing.
There we go. Can everybody hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Yeah, a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Himanshu. That was amazing. I don't know if you were able to see it while you were chatting, but there was a really great conversation about AI happening in the chat log while you were presenting there. So really valuable information. Now I am going to invite Himanshu back up at the end of the presentation here to ask some questions that we got. We pre-polled some of our registrants and had some questions. So Himanshu, thank you again. I'm going to invite you back up in probably about 10, 15 minutes or so, maybe a little bit, about 20 minutes or so. But thank you. And yeah, just stay tuned. We'll have Himanshu back up very soon. So, perfect. So I'm going to bring this back up here. And I'm actually not going to be up here very long. I'm just going to take a quick moment and basically introduce our next speaker. So I'm going to introduce Stacy Long Genovese. Stacy is the Global Head of Education and Training at Snapchat, and she's going to share some information on the world of augmented reality and the importance of teen education. So welcome to the stage, Stacy.
Thank you. You can hear me. I see my little blue line. That's a good sign. I'm going to bring up a presentation here. Let's see. It worked. Hey, everyone.
Stacy, as a pre-note for you, I'm going to hop off and let you go. But if there's any sort of time crunch with you today, just let me know if we have to do your questions a bit sooner. But I do have you slated to do the questions at the very beginning later on. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think I'm good.
Just keep me posted, but I'll hop off stage here. Thanks, Stacy.
He's saying that, everyone, because I'm in an airport right now and my plane's going to take off. But I have a little bit of time. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to see there's such an active chat on the side. And thank you to our last speaker for talking about AI. I'm not going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk about AR. Often people confuse the two, but augmented reality is a really fun topic for Snapchat. If you're on the app at all and you've seen some of the fun stuff we've done, cool. Otherwise, I'm going to show you some pretty inspirational, really interesting stuff to do as I think is a pretty awesome career path. So dream it, build it. That is what we are saying now. We have a free software called Lens Studio. And Lens Studio allows you to build augmented reality experiences both on and off of our platform. That means you can create interactive experiences with 3D and 2D visual assets that create really cool immersive experiences. Let me jump to my slides here and hit the next one. This is me. That's my Bitmoji. If you don't have Bitmojis yet, you may want to get them. They're just a fun way to communicate visually. And my next slide. If you don't know us, Snap, the parent company for Snapchat, we're a technology company. And we believe that reinventing the camera represents our greatest opportunity to improve the way people live and communicate. So on our app, that means we use a messaging app to communicate back and forth. We also have a lot of different really interesting immersive experiences that you can do. So VR, everyone's pretty familiar with. That's virtual reality, where you have a headset and you're experiencing an entirely virtual reality within a headset. AR, or augmented reality, is where the computer interface is overlaid on top of the world. So for us, you can do that in mobile, where, for example, this picture you're seeing here is someone with glasses on, but in reality, she's not wearing those glasses. Those are glasses that are overlaid on the camera. I'll show you lots more examples here and let you know how many people are doing this sort of stuff. So to sort of make the point that we are going to experience a big shift in the types of jobs that are for the future. The last speaker really talked about how artificial intelligence is involved in that. There's some of that with the work that we're doing, but where I'm more interested in chatting about is where you may use coding, where you may use design aspects, and how you can integrate those two skill sets. Right now, about 3.5 million lenses are viewed every day on our platform. And we create those with Snapchat, something called Spectacles. We have wearable glasses, and the camera kit, which is an SDK that you can insert into any other app. About 9 trillion views a day is how many times people are looking at these experiences. That's a lot. I mean, it's an inconceivable number if you think about it, right? But what it means is what we're interested in doing now with our camera and with our phones or wearables is interact with our photo and video. We're not interested in just seeing a static image anymore. We want to have more of a reaction to that. I'll show you some examples of what that looks like. And also we're sharing, we have a community of about 330,000 people worldwide who develop these lenses. These are hobbyists. For some people, it's a career. They build it for big brands. You may see Coca-Cola has them. Disney in their app has them. There's a lot of different health apps out there that use augmented reality as well. And sometimes it's just fun where I can put glasses on, or I can try on clothing, or I can wear a hat, or unfortunately not today, but I have a camera lens on my laptop that would make me look like I was well rested. And today you just get the real me. This is all right. Okay, I'm hoping the video audio will play, but what I'm about to play for you is an example of using augmented reality for try-on for glasses. So it's going to look like she's wearing these glasses, but in reality, she's trying them on through the camera on her phone. So fingers crossed the audio works.
Zenni Optical's AR lenses have been tried on over 60 million times by Snapchatters. Lenses that used our true size technology drove a 42% higher return on ad spend compared to lenses without. For products like eyewear, finding the perfect fit is essential.
So that was a pretty great example of seeing how you can entirely circumvent the need to go to a store to buy glasses, right? You can try them on, and we have found that people return them less, right? The customers are more satisfied with having an experience where they can try on virtually clothing or any number of things. You can see sometimes with Amazon that you can see a couch in your living room. A lot of times that's our technology as well. I'm about to show you now an example of one of our non-hearing engineers who built a lens specific to recognize American Sign Language on a camera. So the way that augmented reality works with our software is anything that a camera can see and hear, you can code an experience for. So in this example here, you'll see she uses her hands and the camera can recognize and then type out what her hands spelled. This will revolutionize, right, the way that we can communicate. This could be about languages. Maybe the phone or camera can hear a language and then translate it on screen to mean something else. More examples forthcoming. This is an example of using wayfinding in this example, it was a concert venue. We participated in about 18 different shows with Live Nation this last year and included an augmented reality map so you could find your way around the festival. Here it is. Wouldn't that be incredible? For me, genuinely, I need this to actually just find my car and to find a bathroom. But any number of ways this can be applied, right? The interesting part about this, as you're seeing visual assets that are 3D. So there's artists and creators who are creating this content. There's also someone that can code this experience that is related to GPS location and where you're moving in that grid. There's also going to be people who come up with the concepts of what you would want to build an immersive experience for. Ultimately, what we're saying is there's a lot of different career opportunities in this field as a whole that involves a lot of different choices. This is one of my favorites. This is an example of the camera recognizing a bird, identifying it then from a database, and then triggering information to come up about the bird. As a bird watcher, I can tell you this is a pretty cool experience. But also, you could do this with any number of things. I'll show you some more examples where object recognition is used on the camera to help teach you a new language as well. And worth sharing, this was made not by one of our staff engineers, but by a community engineer who just built this for fun. Here's another example of, on the far left, character recognition and teaching someone how to write in a new character-based language. The next one over to the right is someone learning how to fold origami by using a projection coming down from the camera onto the table. A different version of American Sign Language that someone else has created as well. And then on the far right is object recognition that's projecting two different languages. This one's in Spanish and then another one in English to show you various objects that it sees. All very, very cool. Really interesting ways to use computers within your everyday life without leaving your everyday life, right? Let's see the next one here. Oh, I just undid the pretty presentation. Here we go. Oh, that's all at once. Oh, here we go. There we go. That's the end. Back to me. I hope you found this interesting. I think ultimately what you'll see is there's some options to learn lots of new different types of things. But more than anything, what I want to share is the future is very bright, and the future gives you an opportunity to start to learn different and new skills that will open up your mind and open up your opportunities to really shape how this technology is being used. I think what we're hoping for is getting the technology into the hands of more people and just seeing what people create. That's it for me.
Amazing. I have to check. You can hear me again, okay, right?
Yes.
Having one tech issue, and I've got PTSD. Stacey, that was amazing. I knew it would be. Thank you so much for sharing the information there. I know that Zoe shared our course information on the AR course that we have. But if anybody's looking for that, just let us know. And then Stacey, I'm going to invite you back up in just a few minutes. We're going to get some of the students up here to ask them a few questions, and then I'll get you back up and we'll ask you some questions there too. But thanks again. It was amazing. All right. Okay, so I mentioned I'm going to get some students up on the stage here. Before I do that, I am going to just remind everybody of the course options that we have. Again, I did this at the beginning of the presentation, but some of you may not be here, have been here, or now we've actually touched on a couple of the courses, so it might be cool to kind of see again the total portfolio. So these are all of the options here. All 6 of these pre-university courses were developed in collaboration with industry professionals using the most up-to-date and current data and technology. These courses prepare students for a range of future academic and career opportunities by providing them with foundational knowledge and skills in various technology fields. So that's the 6 courses: mobile app development, AI and machine learning, video game coding, game design, creating augmented reality experiences, and product design and UX labs. We offer a variety of start dates as well. I just wanted to put this up on the screen. Again, this is recorded for everybody. This information is also available on our website, but just in case you wanted to have a quick snapshot of the timeline, the cohort dates, I should say, for all of the courses that we have. that's that there. And then if you'd like to access the course page directly, you can scan the QR code that is on the screen right now if you'd like. It'll have all the additional information on the course breakdowns and the course dates and the pricing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just scan the QR code there. Again, this QR code will be included in the recording of the presentation, so you can go through it that way too. But please note that we do keep our class sizes smaller. We do this to increase the learning experience for the students. So that means that the remaining seats for this upcoming summer are limited. Actually, I showed at the beginning of the presentation the amount of seats that we have taken for this upcoming summer, and I believe we're hovering around the 350 seats mark for students going through the University of Toronto. So yeah, that's a lot of students going through for the summer courses, and I know that some of these courses are definitely filling up now. So if you're interested, let us know. If you have any questions, I'm actually going to send an email out to everyone after the event today, inviting you to share feedback, inviting you to share any questions that you have about the courses. But if you want, you can just scan this QR code too and just go right to the course pages there. So now I am going to invite both of our student graduates up on the stage. So we have Eason and Krypton joining us today. You guys can hop up now anytime here. And they are students from our video game coding course. They took it last summer, 2023. And we sent out an email poll in advance to all of the registrants for this event. And I had some questions loaded up for both of these students. So Eason, Krypton, if you are still looking and pay attention here, you're welcome to jump up on the stage. There we go. Hello, Krypton. Hello, Eason. Welcome, welcome. So I'll dive right into these questions if you guys are okay with it. In no particular order, Eason, I'll pick on you first. And Krypton, if you don't mind, just when you're not speaking, Krypton, can you just hit the mute button on yours? Amazing. Thank you so much. I only say that because I know Krypton's sharing, I think, a dorm space with some other students, and they're working on some stuff. So we don't want to have the background noise in there. So Eason, I'll start with you here. First question for you, Eason, is why did you take the video game coding course? And the second part to that is why did your parents decide to enroll you in this course? What sort of value did they see?
Yeah, so for me, I've always liked playing video games. I've been playing for a while, and I've also been enjoying like coding from like school classes. And so this course kind of put both those things together, and was also like over the summer in like 2-hour sessions, so I didn't have to go outside. But yeah, and then further along, my parents, the reason why they actually allowed me to take this course was that because, like I said, I've played video games for quite a while, and especially when I was younger, I would just spend way too much time just on my computer, and so it's gotten better now. But so now they want me to like, well, wait, what? No. So for this course, they're like, oh, you like playing video games? Maybe you can get like some better appreciation or more interest into away from playing them and actually making them. And so this is just a good experience to, maybe like get a new option for a career path or get practice for like new skill and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it's often a parent's perspective to try and they see their kids playing a lot of video games, and they try and find the angle that will turn it into a career. But it's actually playing a lot of video games is actually pretty good research for these types of careers. So, so Eason, while I've got you here, I'm going to ask you. I'm just going to go through the questions with you, Eason, and then Krypton, I'll go through your questions if that's okay, versus going back and forth there. But so Eason, what did you like most about the course?
For me personally, I'd say that I liked the freedom that came with the course, because the main thing about the video game coding course was just that they give you a prompt and by the end you're just to make the game, and the prompt they give you is pretty broad. It's just make a maze game, and that can really just be like anything as long as it's a player who's just like in a maze, I guess. And yeah, I like the freedom that came with that, and that I could spend a lot of time like just coming up with random stuff that you can put in or whatever and just be creative. And I like how they weren't as limiting with like what you could do.
Amazing. So lots of creative freedom in the course. And then what new things did the course teach you about? Did you learn any new technologies or new skills, or learn how to work with any new programs or anything in the course?
Yeah, so the main thing was you learn C# because that's what Unity is programmed with, and you get to learn how to use Unity, the UI, all that kind of stuff. And I think the main interesting part was getting to look at the design process for video games and like the development process and debugging, and that kind of stuff was the main things that was focused on.
Amazing. That's all good. It's all core skill building for this type of field. So that's perfect. And then the last question for you, Ethan, do you feel more prepared for future technology and gaming education now after you've taken this pre-university course with us?
Yeah, I'd say so. You get, like I said, you get to learn programming languages to be very useful in like the growing technological industry. And yeah, you can improve on coding skill and stuff like that. Also, like I said, the experience with like the development process and like game development, that was really helpful for gaming education and stuff like that. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Ethan, for taking the time to answer the questions from me here. You can stay up on the stage if you like there. I'll just get you to mute your mic, and I'm going to flip over to Krypton. Krypton, there has been a very good chat about your name in the chat happening right now too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. I also see my schoolmate, actually. I just double check my Teams and search his name is actually on it.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome to Krypton's schoolmate. So Krypton, I'm going to ask you a few questions here as well. The first one I was going to ask you is, do you spend or have you spent a lot of time playing video games in your life? And if you did you find that helped you out with the course? This is kind of a little bit of a play on the conversation I was having with Ethan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would say yes, because I was in primary school, I started playing the GTA Vice City. I played a long time, and after that, I go through a lot of games like Ubisoft games, Rockstar games, and when I go to middle school, I just realized play video games. Why not just build your own game? So yeah. And
Amazing.
yeah, also play video games. I think is also help in this course because you can have a lot of idea from the big company from around the world, right? You can copy their idea and build your own fancy games.
Absolutely. I always say to people, if you don't play games, it's not crucial for this type of course, but if you don't, then you don't get to experience what you like about games, what you don't like about games, what you'd like to see in video games, how, once you learn how to code and develop, that's the beautiful thing. You can kind of go in and create games the way that you would like to see them. So if you playing one of your favorite games and all the time you're like, oh, I just wish it did this one thing. I wish it did this. The benefit there is that you can learn to code and you can actually go create a game that will do that one thing that you like, or many things that you like. So my next question for you, Krypton, what did you like most about the course? What did you enjoy most about it?
I think one of the things, same like Ethan, is freedom actually, and also one other reason is the class is pretty small, and I think we only have 4 people in our class, so actually you can have a lot of time individual contact with your teacher, and when you have questions, you do not go Stack Overflow and use Gemini or Copilot to search your answer. Just ask your teacher, and it's more targets. So and also teacher will reply you as fast as they can. So yeah, I think it's better than you learn by yourself or go ask other people online. It's faster and more valuable.
Amazing. And so the class sizes I did mention earlier, they will be kept a little bit smaller. I don't know that they'll be quite as small as 4. We did launch some of these courses last year, so the class sizes kind of varied for the first rounds that we did. This year we're trying to keep them smaller, but they're not going to be 80 people in a class, but there'll probably be a couple more than 4 in there. But so another question for you, Krypton. Why did you want to take the video game course? And similar to what I asked Ethan, why did your parents decide to allow you to kind of take this course or enroll you in the course?
So I would say because I play video games so much, and also I want to build my own video games. I learned C++ with Unreal for many years, but it's kind of hard for me to change C++ and also Blueprint. So I started this Unity to help me like a lot of skill. Also can help me do better in application in the future with university. And for my parents, I will say it's kind of like funny because and most of the times my parents will not ask me like what do you want to learn and do you need any help for learning something. So when I tell them like I want to join this course, and my father just say okay, sure, why not. And that's it.
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, and one more question for you, Krypton. How are you able to use what you've learned in this course in school now or for your future?
So basically, my school computer science for grade 12 course is teaching the Java and the Java GUI design. And I don't think C# skill help much, but definitely the logic in coding in different language are same. So basically, what you learn in C# and the game design logic, I definitely use it in my right now's Java design for like software or any other things. So I would say skills they are like kind of same. Maybe you cannot use skill directly, but it may will help you in the future in some other ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't know until I got into this world, but understanding the base logic of coding languages and kind of how to navigate through it is incredibly transferable. So if you learn, one coding language, like if you learn C# and you've never touched C++, as somebody who knows C#, you're going to have a much better understanding and a much better time or quicker time learning C++ with that base understanding. So that's just to your point there, Krypton. That's a great answer. So
yeah, and I have one more thing that.
Oh, please go ahead.
David, go. Probably I will see you next Monday.
Your class.
Yeah, and also Pickering College is a high school, not a college for university. So yeah, I'm looking for him next Monday.
Yeah, Pickering private Canadian high school was what Pickering was there. So amazing. All right, well. Thank you to both of the student graduates for taking the time to answer these questions for us today and for sharing your experience with the audience. Isa and Krypton, you're both great. We'd love to have you back again in the future, but for now, I'll let you hop off stage here, and I'm going to invite some of our industry speakers up, and I'm going to do the same thing and ask them some questions. So thanks again, Isa. Thanks again, Krypton. You guys have a great day. Perfect. All right. So similar to what I just did there, I am now going to invite our industry speakers up on stage. So this would be Stacy, Catherine, and Himanshu. And I will go ahead and ask some questions to you folks as well that we had in advance. There we go. Perfect. And then just like I mentioned before, Stace, I'll start with you. I know you're at the airport, so in case you've got to run for the flight, I just want to make sure that that we go through yours here first. So Stacy, as a parent yourself, what sort of benefits do you see in enrolling children in summer courses?
So I think there's so many benefits. The first, it's a lot better than sitting at home bored, right? I mean, you learn a new skill. That's just a good time. I think it's an opportunity to learn things that you're probably not learning in the classrooms. In your regular school classroom, they've got a core curriculum I have to get through. A lot of these types of skills you don't get to cover. But being able to cover it in a summer course like this, when you don't have a lot of stress on regular grades and you get to just do something that you're very interested in, that's very project-based, and you leave with a skill, I think it's a tremendous opportunity. I put my kids in tech summer classes all the time. My 10-year-old's coding Python, building a lot of different fun gaming things. I think it's just a great opportunity. And whether or not this ends up being a hobby or maybe a career path, nonetheless, it's exciting and exposure. And it's pretty low stakes, meaning if you take it and you don't love it, now you know. And you didn't spend 2 years studying a thing that you didn't love. Or maybe it sparks a whole new interest for you and you end up doing something else that you fully enjoy. For parents, it gives your kids an activity to have where they get to enrich themselves and potentially make new friends and see and learn in a new space. They will inevitably learn more about themselves and about how they learn, which is just so valuable.
Amazing. Okay, the next question I have for you here, Stacy. What do you think is a good balance between learning computer skills and limiting overall screen time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different approaches to this, right? And I think it's something that we should regularly revisit, if I'm being honest, right? My area of expertise is education. I am fascinated about how our brains work with technology and learn. So we know we learn new things all the time about how we learn. And I would say that it's really important to be thoughtful with a developing brain about how much time it does spend on a device. And that means collectively all the different devices that they're on. So with my own kids, we have screen time limits, and we make sure that they have time to go outside, look at a distance to make sure their eyes are still forming in the ways that they should, that their attention is still forming in the way that they should. Striking the balance, I think, has to do with maybe what they're engaged in. So not all experiences on devices are the same. Some of them are entirely for entertainment, which is great. We all should have that. And some of them are very instructional. So I think being thoughtful about the diversity of experiences that people will have, and that includes us too, right? I do the same thing. If I have the front of my phone all loaded with just games, I'm not going to use it for my calculator, right? So I think there's a thoughtfulness that you can put into thinking about how you use devices and giving a lot of options in working with it. But I couldn't be more pleased if kids are learning new languages, new skill sets, if they're really stretching and learning in new spaces by leveraging technology. That's fantastic. In a lot of ways, it actually equalizes access to education by having it available for you in your home or wherever else you are. So I think the question in and of itself is the first step of being thoughtful about how much time is there. If it's unlimited and someone's sitting there for 8 hours, it's probably not the best choice. Doing anything for solidly 8 hours is probably not the best choice. And doing what works for you, but regularly thinking about diversity of those experiences. That's my recommendation.
That's a great answer. I like even diversifying the content that you're consuming within the times that you give yourself to look at the screen. So that's fantastic. Okay, the next one is, this is more for Snapchat in general. How is Snapchat contributing to digital literacy among teens, and what tools does it provide to help them navigate the complexities of the digital world safely?
Yeah, I think this is a very thoughtful question as well, and I'm glad someone asked it. So again, this is a landscape that's changing constantly. Last year, AI being generally available was not something that we thought about, right? So we've got a whole new landscape that we're working with. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for any large tech companies to be thoughtful about how their technology is leveraged as well. Worth saying that Snapchat is different in that we've always been designed to be a safer alternative than other social media platforms. And this is primarily because we're used as a messaging app and a service to talk with friends. And it's not used to find new friends, and it's not used to share ideas or information with large groups of people. So it's a very small, contained space. With that in mind, we do regularly get feedback by listening to Snapchatters and thoughtfully innovating based on their needs. So I think it's really important that we keep an open dialogue with both listening to and responding to the needs of the people using our platforms. Well, related to mental health, we care deeply, deeply about mental health in today's youth. And Snapchat doesn't have a public social comparison metric like likes, or it doesn't open directly to an endless feed of information. And we don't tool our algorithms to favor the spread of misinformation or harmful content. So these are all really important concepts that are fundamental to how the app is built. Ultimately, we want an app that makes people happy, not anxious, not mad, but connecting in real ways with friends and family. We do have tools online for parents to leverage, and I can put that link here in the notes if you'd like, that can show there's lots of different parent services to leverage on the platform. So me as a parent, for example, I can see who my kids are connected to. I can't see their messages. They are allowed their privacy, but I do see who they are, and I regularly check in and I say, who's this one? How do we know this person? Do I know their parents? These are all conversations that I think are fair to have. Don't get mad, young people out there. Parents have to be involved. But I hope that's helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was fantastic. Okay, and let me see here. I've got one more for you, Stacy. I guess there's another one for Snapchat. How does Snapchat gather feedback from its teenage users to ensure the platform meets their educational and societal needs?
Yeah, so I think I touched on this briefly, that we regularly hold feedback sessions with youth and all ages of people that use our app. In addition to that, there's lots of ways for people to be able to respond in the app. They can respond directly, they can report anything directly, and they can get a hold of us through the app as well. So these are all ways that we are thoughtful, and we test everything. In fact, recently there was a feature we loaded. We did not get good feedback on it. We shut it down right away. So anytime that we're getting the feedback from any of our users that it's not a happy, positive experience, we change. And I think the goal of all this technology would be when you use it as a user, give your feedback. This is for you. This is serving you. So let the technology companies know what you're looking for, what you like and what you don't like. And at the same time, it's up to the companies to listen and respond in kind.
Amazing. Well, thank you. That was the last question I had for you, Stace. You're absolutely welcome to stay in here as long as you can, or as long as you're liking to. Feel free to interact in the chat and the questions there with anybody who's reaching out to you. But thank you again, Stacy, for taking the time to present earlier
everyone.
and for answering these questions for us here. So
learn augmented reality.
Amazing. All right, so I will flip the microphone over here to, who do I have next? Who am I going to pick on next on the list? Catherine, it looks like you are up next.
Excellent.
So Catherine, the first question I have for you that came in from the audience, how do pre-university technology summer courses help bridge the gap between high school and university education?
Thanks so much for that question, Tyler, and the group. And again, I just want to welcome all of you who are participating in this event. This is an example of the type of work that the School of Continuing Studies likes to be involved in, and working with partners like Circuit Stream. So such a pleasure to have you all on, and the speakers as well. And when we think of schooling and the importance of pre-university courses, I think one of the things that is most critical is in helping pre-university learners understand how they build new thinking skills. We go through a process of education while we're in high school that takes you through a very sequential learning process. And in university, it could be quite diverse. It could be you're learning many things at the same time, and you need to learn how to process information differently, how to think differently. And I think these courses give you an opportunity to really apply your mental skills, your ability to think, your ability to interact with others, and to build a new mindset in preparation for university education, which is fast, and it really calls in people being able to apply what we will call higher order thinking skills. It's not just processing the sort of normal things that you do, but really getting involved in a range of different forms of learning and a range of different learning scenarios. So I think the pre-university really helps people to start to think about what could university learning look like and begin to prepare for that.
Amazing. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, I've got two more questions for you here as well that came in through the audience. So the first one here is, how does the university envision the role of artificial intelligence in shaping its future academic directions?
Well, I think, we continue to be, this is a fact, it's well known, but we are the top university in Canada. And so we put a major emphasis on academics and students' academic performance. And so we see AI as continuing to provide, should I say, the tools and techniques that can help learners to go beyond sort of this simple presentation of information, to develop skills like decision-making, problem-solving, being able to think and analyze information in diverse forms, being able to have critical thinking. I think some of the examples that Stacey provided as in her presentation, gives the learner an opportunity to pause and say, is this real? Analyze what you get. And so in an era where we have such a predominance of information, I think AI really allows you to develop, as I said, those higher order thinking skills in a short time, which you're getting a range of different technologies and formats in relatively at your fingertips, which you couldn't have before. So I think that is a significant advantage. And I think younger learners have that opportunity, which, if you have not been exposed to the forms of AI that you're seeing now, you just would not have been able to develop those skills in a short period of time. So it's immensely important, I think.
I can see Himanshu nodding. So anytime he's nodding when it's an AI discussion, that's a good sign. So
fantastic.
And Catherine, I had one more question for you here from the audience.
Sure.
What can parents do to help support and nurture their teens in order to help them stand out and succeed?
Well, I am a very strong believer in academics. And so I think it's obvious that anybody who is wanting to take these boot camps in preparation for post-secondary education, we are providing learners and young people an opportunity to build those skills before they get in to university. But I think beyond just providing the opportunity to do this type of programming, another area that parents can support their children in is in helping them also to develop those social skills that are critical in this area. It is very easy to become narrowed into just focusing on technology solutions, technology interactions, and all of the different tools and techniques that are available now that weren't there in the past. So it's exciting, it's engaging, but we must also develop those social skills, because when you talk about university education, it's not just about education, it's preparing you for the world of work. It's preparing you for the world of interacting with learners, employees and others in different work settings. So those social skills are absolutely critical. So it's a technology, but you cannot do the technology at the expense of not addressing social skills as well. Those are absolutely critical in the workplace.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a great answer. So thank you, Catherine, for taking the time to welcome everyone earlier and to answer these questions from the audience. Again, valuable information from everybody, but thank you so much for taking the time to share that with us. And you are welcome to stay here for the rest of the presentation as well, Catherine. If you have to go, you're absolutely welcome to, but feel free to interact in the chat and the questions if anybody has any more questions for you there. And now I will flip over the final round of questions here to our third speaker, Himanshu, and we'll talk a little bit about AI again. So first question for you, Himanshu, how do you suggest someone should get into the world of AI and machine learning, and what libraries and APIs should they explore?
I think what we discussed in the presentation also, and what Dean Catherine mentioned, I think as it could be a young learner, it could be a senior professional who wants to get into the realm of AI. It's important to get the fundamentals aligned. So learning a new language in today's age, I would say Python to start with could be a good start point. And though there will be AI assisted tools to help program, but then if you have the fundamentals core very strong, you would be able to leverage that logical flow of thoughts in any other situation. So it actually trains you, grooms you to apply those sequential decision making chronological thoughts, which can help you grow as a professional, as a person, anywhere you go. And with that, once you have got the basics aligned to know the language, start doing some projects. It could be anything. It could be a project as part of your course if you're doing any of these courses like you mentioned initially, or there are a lot of other options available where you can actually build something as part of your curriculum, or just for fun. You can build a game of your own actually and play with your friends. I mean, you just code the game yourself. So you're getting your hands a little dirty with the real life situations, and because you like playing games, you code a game, right? And then that passion for coding, that passion for creating or building things will actually take you places, because you will do professionally or academically well. And tomorrow, let's say you want to start something of your own, or you want to actually join a bigger team where they're building things, you would be somebody that people would be like looking forward to. And also it connects to the point which Stacey had mentioned about critical thinking. The whole idea about what to do, what should be the next sequence, and even if you're using AI or generative AI tools to help you, final decision is yours, right? It is the human being who would decide, should I go left or right. So that call is your call. So you still continue to kind of utilize these inputs, these information which are coming from the tools to take a better decision. So you are developing yourself into a more evolved, a better decision maker with this, personally and professionally, and a lot of your redundant or repetitive work, which otherwise would have taken 10 hours. Like all of us have 30% of our day job just replying to emails or creating short notes of meetings, that can be offloaded to these tools, and you can build these tools on your own. So this is just the beginning. I think I would encourage all students as well as senior professionals on call to try it out. It's fun.
I'm excited for that wave of innovation to make my daily work even easier too. So I also encourage the next group of young technology leaders to learn these skills, to develop these things, to make our lives easier too. Amazing. And so the next one I have for you here, Himanshu, beyond formal education, what other activities do you think are beneficial for a career in AI?
So as you were talking about it, for sure, the core competency, the formal education could be good. But as technology is moving at a very fast pace, it's important for us as the consumers of the technology to keep ourselves up to date, both in terms of the nuances which it can bring, misuse which it can bring, as well as the opportunities which it can create, right? So a lot of things which you are doing ourselves could be offloaded to a bot. Let it do it, so that, let's say you want to do some creative work, you want to code a game, or you want to write your next masterpiece in terms of a sonnet or a book, you can focus on that, and then your tasks which were very repetitive can be offloaded. And it's possible now, it's happening. So if you read about what's happening around, you are generally in touch with technology. More importantly, its applied usage, you will take things forward. And that is something which I would encourage all of you to do, because same technique could be deployed in different sectors, different professions, different industries in a different way. And it can be transformational for those individuals, that community, that particular set of, like, for example, augmented reality, we talked about it, the way it is enhancing the enriched conversation or interaction amongst the users on Snapchat could also be a tool which could be utilized for perhaps undertaking repair of an aircraft which is stranded somewhere, and you are actually connecting on a 5G network, and there is a specialist engineer who is there right now on the tarmac at Pearson, and there's an aircraft stranded somewhere on an island. You could actually connect and provide those inputs. So somebody who's a mechanical engineer, or there are, I think, a lot of engineers, you could think innovatively and see how the technologies can help you solve the problems which otherwise would have taken a human being in person to be present there. Right?
Absolutely. And I just randomly, it's not directly connected to what you were saying, but I was just thinking again of how impressive it was at how quickly ChatGPT hit 100 million users just from your presentation earlier today. Still thinking back on parts of that too, which was crazy. So, okay. And then the last question I've got for you here, Himanshu, how can parents get involved with using AI technology with their children?
Very interesting question. And I think parents as well as the students would be learning a lot of new things. So parents could also be learning it along, and there are a lot of courses available. I think you mentioned about it, and Dean Catherine also mentioned about it, that there are courses in various domains which can help. Also, as these students are going to join the workforce, they will graduate from universities and these programs, they will be equipped. Whereas parents who are working professionals or entrepreneurs, they could perhaps, this could be a good family activity where the whole family is learning together. Let's say how to use Snap AR or ChatGPT to create a particular travel plan from here to Chicago. And it's fun actually. And then you can perhaps add a lot of insights to it. And whatever you learn, you can take it forward. A student can take it forward for the classwork, and the parent could take it forward to actually solve some business problem at office. So it could be a very enriching family activity to learn together, to code together, to build games to start with. I mean, games are fun, so that's why I would give that example first. But later on, can move to apps. And let's say there is a parent who's an entrepreneur, and they are still running a brick and mortar store, and perhaps the children could actually come up and do a creation of a web app which can actually solve that business problem for the parents. I mean, it could be a good combination of the new generation of technologists to the business leaders amongst the parents to come together and harness, because this is fantastic. Yes, and at the same time, parents also provide a balancing act, because there are nuances of these technologies. There are problem areas which can result in things which are not good for children, which are not good for the community, for the larger society. So that part gets also taken care of if parents are involved. Little more ethical, responsible usage, disinformation, misinformation being addressed, and those aspects.
Amazing. Amazing. That's okay. I also live across the street from a fire hall. I'm not at home right now, but oftentimes when I'm trying to present from home, I get a siren every few minutes. So amazing. Thank you so much, Himanshu, for both answering these questions now and for the presentation earlier. For everyone in the audience, still, all of this was recorded and will be sent out to everyone. So all of the awesome details that Himanshu shared in the world of AI and the future of AI, you'll have access to all of that information as well. Himanshu just shared in the chat. I was just going to say that to share information through Vector, which he did. So go ahead and feel free to click through that if you like. I'm going to share our course link here too in the chat. This is just, again, it's the courses, all of the teen courses that are available through the University of Toronto. So thank you so much, Himanshu, to all of our speakers here today. It was all amazing. The information that was shared was unbelievable. I love the conversation. I've been watching it in the chat. What course did Ethan and Krypton take? They both took the video game coding course. Just I saw that question come up. So thank you everybody for joining us here today, for taking the time to join this session. Himanshu, I can, if you like, I can let you hop off the stage there. But thank you again for all the information that you shared. And I'm going to send out an email to everybody after the event here today, just to share your feedback. Let us know what we could have done better. If you have any questions about the courses or what we did amazing, I guess I should put that out there too. Look for those emails. I'm going to send them out in just a few minutes, and pay attention to circuitstream.com if you want to take a look at any of the upcoming events that we have, mostly for our adult courses too. That email, if you have any questions about the pre-university courses, about the start dates, about the pricing, about anything at all, just reach out to us, let us know, or just let us know in that survey that I send out, and we can reach back out to you. So that's it. Thank you everybody for joining us here today. I hope everyone has a great rest of your Thursday. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Thursday. Looks like my camera feed is getting choppy now, which is perfect timing at the end of the session here, I guess. So thank you so much, everyone. We get a document showing your presence here. What do you mean? You can get a recording of the full event, and you'll see that I'm in here as well. But thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic Thursday, and we will look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.